Yes, people, big up. What is happening? Liverpool profit back again. It's that time of the week, people. We have a Champions League fixture to preview yet again. So it's my delight. Well, not really a delight with the way Liverpool have been so far this season and recently as well. But I bring to you guys the Liverpool versus QARABAG match preview. So, gonna give you guys my thoughts and feelings ahead of the game. Gonna give you guys my predicted 11 for the game, and of course, gonna give you guys my score prediction as well at the end. So, before we get into the match preview, do remember if you are enjoying the video, if you are enjoying the match preview, if you are enjoying what I'm talking about, drop a like on the video. You know what to do. Subscribe to the channel as well, people. I'm only 6 subs away from 600 currently. So if you can subscribe, it's very much appreciated. Of course, turn notifications on as well so you know whenever future content drops. Having said all of that, let's now just get straight into the match preview and waste no more time. So Liverpool versus QARABAG. On paper, this is a game we should win. I'll be honest. We should win. There's no excuses not to win. Literally nothing. Nothing other than a win is acceptable here. Now, I don't know much about QARABAG. I don't even know what country QARABAG are from. That's not me trying to be disrespectful or nothing, but I don't know nothing about that club. I know they got a point against Chelsea a while back, a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I have no idea otherwise about them. So, on paper, with the squad we have, with the players we put out, whoever we put out, we should be able to go out there and get the 3 points. At Anfield as well, considering we're at home on a European night in front of the lights, there's no reason why we don't get the 3 points here and advance. I'll be honest, if we don't get 3 points here, I'd like to say that the manager should be fired on the spot, but we know he won't be. Regardless of what happens, the manager is not going to get fired by the looks of it. We could probably be 15th in the table. They'll still be sticking by him. Reports did come out yesterday, unfortunately, that Slot has retained the backing of FSG and the hierarchy at Liverpool yet again. So, just like a couple of weeks ago, he retains the backing of the owners again. Honestly, why not just come out and say you don't have standards? Why not just come out and say you are tin pot owners, you are cheapskates, and you have absolute no care what happens to this club going forward? They can go do one. They can genuinely go do one. Screw FSG, screw Michael Edwards, and screw Richard Hughes as well. Them three can go screw themselves. Now, I don't know how much authority FSG actually have over this, or if they're just letting Hughes and Edwards run stuff. But if they are, Edwards and Hughes need to be fired, because this is a sackable offence to keep a manager who is blatantly not up to the task. See, this is what happens every single time, people. I do a match preview, I log on for a match preview, and what happens? I end up going into a rant about Liverpool and the managerial situation. It bugs me. I'd be lying if I was sat here saying it doesn't bug me. It bugs me every single minute of every day that we haven't got a new manager and we're still stuck with Slot. Now, I looked at Slot's comments in today's pre-match press conference, and again, it's a hard watch. It's genuinely a hard watch watching his press conferences, his post-match interviews, his pre-match press conferences. It's a hard watch because he just talks absolute gibberish. I don't know what happened to the guy from last season that was so spot on in what he said, chose his words carefully. That's completely gone. I struggle to sit there and sit through what he says because it's absolute nonsense. Genuinely, I think he was saying something about Liverpool fans being ungrateful or alluding to that. His comments over the last couple of weeks have just been unacceptable. Talking about 2 league titles in 30 years, etc. Undermining the club. Again, I'm really considering putting a stop to watching these press conferences because it does my head in. Makes excuses, talks gibberish, doesn't know what he's on about. And again, he mentioned PSG yet again. Ever since PSG knocked us out of the Champions League last season, feels like it was a bit of a turning point for Liverpool and for Slot apparently as well, because up until then, we were playing relatively good football, a mixture of gegenpressing, attacking football with a blend of a bit of controlled possession-based football as well. Since that PSG loss, something seems to have just switched in on us. Like he's now obsessed with playing pure possession-based football, just like Paris Saint-Germain do. Now, I've maintained there's only 2 managers in the world who can play possession-based football and execute it perfectly, and that's Pep Guardiola and Luis Enrique. Anyone else who does it doesn't seem to be able to execute it at all. to the standard that those two do. And Slot is the same. I don't know where the obsession came from. I don't know why he's always fanboying over PSG, but he does it on a regular basis, and it does my head in. Does my head in. Stop mentioning Paris Saint-Germain. He's become so fixated and obsessed with wanting to play just like they do that it bugs me. And you can see it as well on the pitch. You can blatantly see that we're trying to do a cheap knock-up version of Paris Saint-Germain's football. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for a Liverpool manager to be obsessed with a Paris Saint-Germain manager and a Paris Saint-Germain team. Again, talking gibberish. What else? Let's talk about the stuff that he said that actually mattered. So, Joe Gomez will most likely not be available for this game, which is a bit of a blow. That's a bit annoying. So, there's no Joe Gomez. He's out for this match. As for the weekend, I'm not too sure. We'll see in Stott's press conference on Friday what is going on there. But he won't be playing tomorrow, most likely. So, that leaves everyone with the question here. Who's going to partner Virgil van Dijk at centre-back tomorrow? Because if Gomez is out, obviously Konate, understandably, is dealing with his own family issues. And, of course, Leona is out injured. We know that since the Southampton game at the beginning of the year. Who are we going to play next to Virgil van Dijk? Because we have no centre-backs. We literally have no centre-backs. And this is why, like I said, it's absolutely bizarre that we didn't go into the market and we didn't bring a centre-back in. Someone to rival and challenge the players we have currently, or even as cover. And we still haven't done that even now. It's bizarre. Genuinely bizarre. So, as for who will partner Virgil, I think it will either be Gravenberch or Endo, personally. Now, I'm leaning more towards Endo because I feel like he's reliable. In a one-off game, I think he can do a solid job at centre-back. If he's going to be playing at centre-back for a sustainable amount of games, though, I'm less confident in him because at the end of the day, he's a defensive midfielder. That is his natural position. So, I feel Endo will play. There's a possibility Gravenberch does too, but again, we'd lose so much in the midfield if we put Gravenberch in at centre-back that I feel we just keep the midfield how it is. So I feel what will most likely happen in this scenario is we'll probably see Endo and Van Dijk as the centre-back partnership tomorrow. I doubt Slot is going to go bring a player out of the youth, someone in the youth team. He will not do that. He doesn't seem to like the youth anyway because he never seems to trust them. So I believe we'll see Endo. Now, tomorrow against QARABAG, we should be fine. We should be fine with Endo at centre-back against QARABAG because I don't really see any players in that team that could cause Liverpool a threat. Having said that, I would have said the same thing about PSV Eindhoven when they played us, that there's no one who can really cause us a threat. And they scored 4 past us at home, so I'm going to be humble with it. But on paper, Endo centre-back, if there's one club in the world that you could probably do it against, or there's probably a number of clubs you could do it against, this would probably be one. Experiment a bit, maybe. Shoehorn someone in. We can probably get away with it. At the weekend against Newcastle, you can't be doing that because Newcastle, of course, are a much better side and have much better quality than QARABAG do. So I think for tomorrow, we should be able to get away with it and we should be fine. But you never know, people. You just never know with Liverpool. So I'm cautious. I'm very cautious. If Gravenberch plays centre-back, I'll lose my mind. I will lose my mind because then it comes to a point where, okay, what happens in the midfield? Does that mean we do a formation change? If Gravenberch plays centre-back, do we ditch the 4-2-3 or the 4-2-3-1 or whatever is going to happen? I don't know. So I think Endo should be Endo is the smart choice here. But then again, Endo hasn't played in God knows how long. Are you going to risk? He's in risk of getting an injury, let's be honest, if he does play, because he hasn't played in so long. So if he gets injured, again, it's on Slot. It is on Slot and purely on the manager's head. Moving forward, people, personally, I'd just be starting the same team that played against Marseille last week. Slot ditched the 4-2-3-1. He went back to a 4-3-3. That's what worked so well for us last season. The midfield that worked so well for us last season, he went back to that. And I felt we had a relatively good performance last weekend. Frimpong looked good, Ekitike looked good, Kirkers looked good, Wirtz looked good. All the new signings were able to really thrive in the 4-3-3 formation. And we put in a relatively good performance away from home. I won 3-0. A convincing win against a decent Marseille side on paper, or so I'm told. Now, the manager completely went away from that on Saturday against Bournemouth. And you saw the performance was yet again disjointed. So for me personally, I would be playing the same team that we played last weekend against Marseille tomorrow. The chemistry's there. The team looked good together. let's continue it on into the next game. So I'd be playing the same team. I'd do the 4-3-3. And of course, I'd play every single player where they played. Don't be bringing no Gakpo into this one. Don't be making no changes. You make one small change to a team that has good chemistry with it, it can completely disrupt the rhythm. And we saw that on Saturday when Ekitike came out for Gakpo. It's not the same. Obviously, with Gomez out, he won't be able to play. So Endo, pretty much for me, I play the same team as last weekend, but I put Endo in at centre back over Joe Gomez. And we need the win. Like I said, 3 points are a must. Even though we beat QARABAG, no, what am I about? Even though we beat Marseille last week 3-0, it doesn't necessarily mean qualification is guaranteed. While yes, it was a big step in the right direction, beating Marseille last week, but we're still not guaranteed qualification, in my humble opinion. I still think we're probably going to need 3 points here. So this isn't a game where the manager can just write it off, throw it away, play a younger team, play a rotated team. No, we have to go relatively full strength. If you remember last season, we were in a very different position. This time, we were able to play a rotated side against PSV away. We lost, but it didn't matter because we were doing we top the table. A year later, in a very, very, very different circumstance and a very different situation, we've got to go strong and we've got to get the 3 points, because a draw could see us probably drop out the top 8 if the teams below us pick up points or wins, and a loss would be disastrous. I did say we need 6 points out of both these games, and I maintain that we need 6 points out of both. We've got 3 already, so we need another 3 tomorrow. And of course, we need the bounce back from the Bournemouth game. Let's be honest. The performance we saw against Bournemouth wasn't good enough. The result, of course, we know, as you know, wasn't good enough. So we need a response. We need a reaction. Now, I think we're fortunate that we're playing a team that don't have a lot of quality here, because if we played a team that did have a lot of quality or had some sort of quality, I wouldn't be confident. But because it's QARABAG, because they're not the best side ever, I'm relatively confident we'll bounce back with a win. Will it be easy? Probably not. But I think we'll get the 3 points. I do think we get the 3 points over the line and we can progress forward. But if I bring up the Champions League table, everyone, just so you guys can see it as well, if I just share the screen. So this is the Champions League table as things stand. So Arsenal, top of the table, pretty much qualified. Bayern are qualified. Third, Real Madrid. Real Madrid shot right up with that 6-1 win last weekend against Monaco. We are in 4th behind them. We beat Madrid as well, and we're behind them in the table, which is mad. Spurs right up there in 5th, which is surprising. Paris Saint-Germain, I believe that is Newcastle, is it? Yeah. Chelsea, Barcelona. So that is the top 9. That is the top 9 currently. We need to win, because chances are if Spurs win, PSG win, Newcastle win, Chelsea win, Barcelona win, they'll shoot right above us. And we could probably drop down from 4th to 9th, 10th. So 3 points is a must. Now, I will say we're in a better position than we were before the Marseille game. Before the Marseille game, I believe we were 11th in the table. With that win, we shot right back up. And it just goes to show this table fluctuates a lot. And it doesn't really mean nothing in the long run, because we saw last season we topped this table and we didn't go on to win the Champions League. We ended up going out in the round of 16. Paris Saint-Germain just about qualified, I believe, and they went in. And in the end, they were the ones who lifted all big years Champions League. So this table doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. It's nice to finish top. It looks nice when your team finishes top. But ultimately, what would you rather be? Top of this table and go out early? Or would you rather be one of those teams that gets you into the playoff, wins the playoff, and then advances to win the whole tournament? I know which one I'd rather be personally. But yeah, very close. You see teams in there which are surprisingly in there. Spurs, Tottenham being as high as they are in 5th is surprising, but fair play to them. Newcastle being in the top 8 as well, very surprising, but fair play to them. Other than that, I'm not surprised the other teams that are there. The only team that aren't in the top 10 here are Manchester City, surprisingly enough. So yeah. And of course, if the English clubs do well in the Champions League, we know that means that top 5 will be available for UCL qualification. That 5th spot will become a Champions League spot. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the English clubs do well, because chances are, if we don't make top 4, we'll be able to get a 5th spot. So we'll see where it goes. But a win and nothing but a win is acceptable. We are playing better in the Champions League, though. Let me just remove this, actually. Just bring that up there. Ooh. Yeah, I will say, people, performances are better in the Champions League. It feels like, for whatever reason, we're able to get up for it on a European night more so than we are for a league game. I look at Inter away, a very solid performance. Madrid at home, very solid performance. Beat Atletico opening night. Um, Last week, Marseille 3-0, minus the Galatasaray and the PSV games. We've been relatively solid in the Champions League, and the performances have been better. There's been more fluidity, and the managers made the correct decisions in the Champions League games. Now, is that something to do with maybe the fact that Slot's been told that if he doesn't win the Champions League, he's going to be potted in the summer and he's going to be sacked? Maybe Slot is prioritizing the Champions League more so now and winning the Champions League more so than he is on where the league is. But again, you run the risk because if you go out of that, you're in big trouble. Let's be totally honest. Because if the league position is low and you go out of the Champions League, there's no way you can claw back a top half of the table finish. So again, but performances have been better, a lot better. So last week, 3-0 against Marseille, and then we lose in the league to Bournemouth. So I don't know why. I don't know why we're able to get up for the Champions League games and we're having decent performances there and good results, but for the league games, we're not looking so good. It's a very, very strange one. But again, if Slot is going to do what Ange Postecoglou did last year, where he just bins the league and goes for a European competition, you better hope you win it. You better hope you win it, because if you don't, the ridicule you're going to face is mad. If Tottenham had lost that European final last season, they would have been ridiculed for finishing 17th. United finished 15th, lost that final. They were ridiculed all summer. If we have a low finish and we don't get Champions League or win the Champions League, we're going to be ridiculed. So if you do something like this, where you bin the rest of the competitions off over league and focus on Europe, you better hope you win whatever European competition you're in. So if he's doing that, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what his angle is here. But for whatever reason, tactically, he gets the Champions League game spot on. Tactically, the team look good in the Champions League. And overall, the performances in the Champions League are better than they are in the league. Which is big. Like I said, unless Slot is able to win the Champions League, from what reports have said, he's going to be sacked in the summer because he's not winning the league. Of course, we can't win the Carabao Cup. We're out of that. FA Cup is a bit of a long shot. You never know with that. And this is the real only chance that I believe we have of silverware this season. I think the FA Cup will go to someone, an underdog again, personally. That's my gut feeling. So this is our only chance at silverware. The way we're playing in the Champions League, I wouldn't write us off because we look better, like I said. But then again, there's other top teams in the Champions League too. And if we come up against one of them, I believe it could be curtains for us. But yeah, never write us off in Europe. We can always do bits in Europe. In the past, we were crap in the league, but we'd always do well in Europe. So it's a bit of an escape for us Liverpool fans playing European football. So never write us off, but it's unlikely we win the Champions League, if I'm honest. To be fair, if we won the Champions League, I'd still want Slot to go. For me, I don't really care what he does. I need him gone by the summer. Relationship's broken down. The relationship between the fans and the manager is completely broken down over the course of the season. So there's not really a way that I look at it and see a world where he can fix that relationship. So if he wins the Champions League, cool, happy days. But I still want him replaced. I'd still like to see him replaced, personally at least. But other people might disagree. So yeah, people. Again, must-win game tomorrow. I can't really see a world where we don't win. I'll be honest. If you can't beat QARABAG at home, it's a sackable offence. But like I said, if you can't beat Burnley at home, that should be a sackable offence. You can't beat PSV at home, that should be a sackable offence, and he's still here. So what's mad is, even if Liverpool draw tomorrow or we lose, the chances are that Slot will still likely be here. He won't be sacked. So we're in a lose-lose situation either way, people. We win, and again, it's just the happy clappers will eat it up. The Slot-inners will start creaming themselves, and we'll start hearing about how great he is again. We lose, yeah, we're angry, but the owners won't do nothing. We draw, we're in the middle, same, we're angry, but nothing's going to get done about it. So we're in a lose-lose situation either way with what happens with Liverpool this season. You win games, Slot-inners will eat it up like anything. They'll tell us, we're toxic and negative. We can't say Slot out now. We lose, of course, we're mad, but changes just won't be made. And the same if we draw, we're mad, but changes won't be made. So it's not a great time being a Liverpool supporter at the moment. I'd be lying if I was sitting here trying to be positive and say it's a good time. It's not. It's a very, very difficult moment that we're in. But I hope we can get through it. If we've got to stick with Stott to the end of the season, if we've got to suffer with him for the end of the season, I'll take it. I suppose, as long as next season we see change. So yeah. But now, people, I wanted to bring up my predicted 11 for the game. So what team I think will take to the pitch tomorrow to take on QARABAG. So if I just bring the lineup builder up, people, hopefully you guys can see the lineup builder here. Just remove all of that. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see it. Get rid of that. So yeah, people, this is my team for tomorrow's game. You should be able to see this. Again, it's pretty much the same team that played against Marseille last weekend, midweek. So I wouldn't change much. Obviously, we have to make a change at centre back because Gomez is out injured. But just to run you guys through the team, obviously Alisson in goal. I'm gonna say I was a bit surprised at Alisson's performance at the weekend against Bournemouth. I felt personally, for his standards, he was relatively poor in the game. But again, Alisson doesn't have much poor games, does he? So I'm sure it was just a one-off, and he'll be better in this game. But he needs to be better because we need him. We need him when our defense is as bad as it is. When we're getting ran through like our defense does, we need him to step up and just save the day. So yeah, Alisson in goal regardless. Even if he has a bad game, he'll play because he's the best keeper in the world, and I trust him to put it right. Moving into right back, Frimpong, I think, will play at right back. Again, Frimpong very good last weekend against not last weekend. I don't know why I keep saying weekend. Last week against Marseille, another good performance. I don't know if the goal was given to him, the second one, or if it was given as an own goal. I can't remember, but again, he was involved in that. Really stepped up since Conor Bradley's been out injured. Very much stepped up. So credit to him, and hopefully his good form can continue on. Moving on to the centre back pairing. Here we go. Now, I think it will be Van Dijk and Endo personally. I believe Endo will be drawn into this game. Obviously, there's no one else. Gomez injured. Kanate dealing with a family issue, and Leon are injured as well. I can maybe see a world where Robertson partners Virgil at centre back, but again, you'd probably have to move Virgil over to the other side, and I don't see that happening. So there's no choice really. It's either going to have to be Endo or it's going to have to be Gravenberch, and I'd rather it be Endo personally. I believe he's played centre back briefly before, and I believe he can do a job there. He's a warrior, so you can put him anywhere on the pitch and he'll do a job. But I'm worried. He hasn't played in a long time. He hasn't started in a long time. And if he starts this game, I'm worried he could potentially pick up a knock. Hopefully he doesn't, though. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I think it will be Endo and Van Dijk. Moving to the left back position, it's going to be Milos Kerkez. We know that. Looks like the Robertson to Spurs move could very well be back on. It looks like Rob was given the green light. So unless Roma can't find a replacement for Costa Tsimikas, he will probably be going to Spurs this window. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, either way, I think Kerkez is going to be the starting left back going forward. Again, a little bit hit and miss. I thought he was poor against Bournemouth at the weekend, his former side. But before that, he looked like he was getting some sort of momentum. Locked up Greenwood midweek last week. So fair play to him there. So yeah, Kerkez left back. Moving into midfield, I've gone with Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister, the ever so reliable midfield three. On their day, probably the best midfield, arguably the best midfield in the world. Don't want to be deluded there, but I think it's right up there. I just want the manager to keep it easy. Just go with the same team that played last week against Marseille. That was so good. Don't try and do a 4-2-3-1. Don't change it up. Don't change anything. Just do what was done last week, and I'm sure the team will do their talking on the pitch. So this is what I'm hoping the manager does, but I genuinely don't know what he will do. But yeah, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister. If anyone's going to pop up in a moment of need, it's going to be Szoboszlai because he's done it so much this season. So we need him right down the pitch. So yeah, that is the midfield I've gone with. And up top, of course, I believe it will be Salah off the right. Since coming back from AFCON, he hasn't been great. It's kind of like he's continued his form on pre-AFCON before he left. Not been good. But I hope he can come good. It's not been. It's definitely been a season to forget for Mohamed Salah. Standards wise, he just hasn't been where he would like to be, and he knows that probably. So definitely been a season to forget for him. But hopefully he can maybe reignite it towards the business end of it and towards the second half. So Salah starts. Fingers crossed he can get a goal on his AFCON return, and hopefully he can get a better performance. But yeah, I don't know what to expect with Mo at this point anymore. Do the centre, Hugo Ekitike has to be. I don't want to see Gakpo do the centre again in this game. Don't want to see that. We're going to play Gakpo, play him off the left, not do the centre. I personally, I wouldn't want to see Gakpo at all, but we know that he'll come on at some point. But yeah, Ekitike has to start in this game. He has to play. Why would you bench one of our brightest sparks against Bournemouth? I'll never know. but he has to play here. And off the left, I'm torn between Gakpo and Wirtz. It's got to be Wirtz for me. He offers more off the left than Gakpo does, in my opinion. Not even a natural left winger, but he's better than Gakpo, who is a natural left winger. So yeah, pretty much the same team that was against Marseille, minus Endo coming in for John Gomez. So for when you guys do it again, Alisson in goal, Frimpong at right back, Van Dijk and Endo at centre back, Milos Kerkez at left back, midfield three of Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister, and up top Salah, Ekitike and Wirtz. So that is the team that should, well, I believe has to take the pitch, but will the manager do that? I don't know. The manager, knowing him, he'll chop and change something up and it will completely blow up in our faces. So either way, that team should be good enough to get the win tomorrow, get the 3 points and qualify from the top 8, but you never know. You know, if we're going to get away with it, if there's one of any teams in the world you can get away with playing Endo at centre back in, probably a team like this, because they're not very good. So we should be beating them regardless. And we need the bounce back, of course. I believe we'll get the win, but I believe we'll probably make it harder than it needs to be, as per usual. But yeah, that's the team, people. If I just take that off the screen now. Apologies for that. X that. So yeah, everyone, that is my team for tomorrow's game against Bournemouth against QARABAG. As for my score prediction for the game, like I said, I believe Liverpool will win. I believe we'll get the 3 points. I believe we'll bounce back. But again, I don't expect it to be an easy game. I expect us to make hard work of this one. But I think we get the 3 points. I can see maybe Szoboszlai coming in clutch again. I'm going to go with a Liverpool 2-1 win. I think it'll be close, but I'll back us at Anfield to get over the line and get the 3 points to qualify to the next round through the top 8. So I'm going to go 2-1 to the Reds. A nervous game. Screw it. I'm going to predict it. Szoboszlai, free kick banger again in this one. Bookmark it, clip it, whatever. I'm feeling another Szoboszlai banger to win us the game. So I'm going to go 2-1. Close, but we get the job done. But let me know your score prediction down below in the comments, everyone. Let me know your thoughts and feelings ahead of the game as well in the comments too. And of course, let me know what lineup you would go with tomorrow as well in the comments. So yeah, having said all of that, everyone, we've reached the end of today's match preview. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. Only 6 subs away from 600. So if you can subscribe, much appreciated. And of course, do get it down below in the comments too, like I've just said. But we reached the end of the match preview, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow after the game with my match reaction. So stay tuned for the match reaction, people. Hopefully we win, but you just never know with us this season. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to head off, people. I'll speak to you all soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. Liverpool profit out. Big up you guys. Bye for now. Latest.